Have you ever followed all the health rules and you still felt awful? You ate the heart healthy whole grains, you counted the calories, you did the right workouts, and you still couldn't lose weight or boost your energy level? Well, if that's you, you are not broken. You're just not average. You see, no study, no dietary or exercise guideline, and no so called experts can ever fully tell you what's best for your body. So I think it's time that we embrace our individuality, we tune into our own bodies, and we take the first steps towards becoming your own expert. And why would we do this? Because science has limitations. It speaks to the average person, and you're anything but average. I say this as someone who loves science. I have a PhD in nutrition. I spent years in labs designing studies, formulating supplements, and coaching people to better health. I value science. I'm not anti-science. I'm just pro you. What I've learned as a scientist is that there are limitations, particularly when it comes to the intricacies of your own personal health. When we design a study, scientists like myself control for variables or differences among people. And after we control for those differences, we draw conclusions that can be applied to the average person in that particular study population. This means scientists create inclusion criteria. We select certain types of people for the study while excluding others. These are people that we say don't fit the mold. There are outliers. For example, you might be excluded from a study if you have anxiety because it can affect how your body responds to stress or medication. Or you might be excluded if you break down caffeine too slowly or even too quickly. And if you don't fit the mold, you're either not invited into the study or your data gets tossed out. So when that study comes out and says, on average, people respond like this, remember, if you weren't in that study, those results may or may not even apply to you. Even when you are the kind of person that they recruited and you made it into the study, there's still a huge spread of responses oftentimes. You know, around 20 years ago, I attended a conference. It was called Living Well to 100. And one presentation really stuck with me to this day. The scientist was convinced that omega-3 fatty acids would lower cholesterol and triglycerides. And that sounds reasonable. So the scientist tested it. And here's what happened. About 1/3 of the people that he tested had the expected result. Their cholesterol and triglycerides went down. Another third, nothing happened. Their numbers were basically the same. But then the final third group of individuals, they actually got worse. Their cholesterol and triglycerides went up when they consumed the omega-3 supplement. It was the same nutrient, the same protocol, completely different outcomes. That moment hit me really hard because the conclusion was not simple. It wasn't, oh, omega-3s are good for everyone or omega-3s are bad. The conclusion was people are different. So our bodies respond uniquely, even to the same nutrient. What works wonders for one person may not work at all or may even be harmful for another because there's no one size fits all supplement or diet or exercise plan. You know, that seems like an obvious statement, but it's not how our health system is built. Our system loves averages. When organizations, medical systems, and government agencies build standardized recommendations, they base them on these averages. So you can end up boxing individuals into advice that doesn't actually fit them and sometimes could actually hurt them. So here's a real world example. Some people with type 1 diabetes have found that a low carbohydrate diet helps them control their blood sugar better than the standard diet that's recommended in our society. On this low carbohydrate diet, they feel better, their numbers look better, and their quality of life improves. But because that dietary approach doesn't match the official standard of care, some doctors have told the patients to stop doing what's working. Can you imagine that? You finally find something that helps you. The numbers are stabilizing, your mood's improving, your energy is getting better, and you're told to abandon it because it doesn't fit the guideline. This is what's happened when we worship the averages and we dismiss the individual. It results in frustration, confusion, and a whole lot of self-doubt. It's easy to feel like you're failing or like something is wrong with your body when the advice that is supposed to help doesn't deliver. But the problem isn't you. The problem is a system that favors averages over individuals. The problem is a system that was never designed for your specific body. I like to think of our bodies as an orchestra with every system from your digestive to your endocrine working in harmony to create your unique health symphony. Your microbiome has a personalized fingerprint. It influences how your body responds to everything from broccoli to stress. And then toss in your micronutrient status. Are you low in magnesium? Are you brimming with B vitamins? That difference alone can shift how your body functions day to day. Now layer in your genetic differences, environmental exposures, unresolved childhood trauma, and how efficiently your liver detoxifies. And you have a composition more intricate than any scientific study can actually capture. Food sensitivities and digestive enzyme efficiencies further complicate this symphony. One person's superfood is another's toxin. For a while, chicken was my kryptonite. I was trying to eat clean, all from scratch, organic food. I was doing all the right things. But chicken, which is supposed to be safe, it's the lean, good girl protein, right? It was my kryptonite. It caused systemic inflammation in my body. And that's when it really sank in for me. Even the most universally healthy foods can be harmful if they're wrong for your body. Given our complexity, it's no surprise that the science of averages cannot capture the symphony within. Science and experts usually mean well. They're often trying to simplify complex data into actionable advice, but they can unintentionally squeeze us into boxes that don't fit. So if you've ever thought, everyone says this smoothie or this diet plan or this supplement is amazing, but I feel horrible on it, please hear me out. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means your body is giving you valuable data that is unique to you. And it is your job to listen to those data points and piece them together, like piecing together a puzzle, in order to decipher what your body truly needs. So instead of trying to conform to someone else's plan, I think it's time to embrace our individuality. No study, no guideline on earth can fully capture you. And we haven't even talked about emotions, beliefs, relationships, or that coworker who keeps emailing you in all caps. So science is a tool, an incredibly useful tool. It gives us patterns, probabilities, and possibilities. It helps us find patterns and generate really good guesses from those patterns. But science is just one tool. It's not the entire toolbox. Because at the end of the day, you are the one living with your choices, not the guideline committee, not your favorite influencer, not even your well-meaning doctor. You're the one who must live in your body. Health research can offer a map, and experts can offer suggestion, but only your body can tell you what's working for you. And that's where personal experimentation comes in, where you become your own experiment. So what I mean is, you are the experiment and the scientist. You are the subject, the living, breathing, healing process, but you're also the scientist who's observing and asking questions and making adjustments and learning as you go. Think of yourself as your own N=1 study or N of 1 study, where you are the only subject. That means you are the gold standard. So here, I want to give you 3 starting points of how you can become your own N of 1 experiment. Number 1, listen to your body. You become the silent observer. So before you change anything at all, you practice no judgment. There's no good, there's no bad. You're just noticing. And if something comes up and you feel like you want to judge it, you can simply say, oh, isn't that interesting? So throughout your day, you can start paying attention to things like how you feel after you eat certain foods, how you feel after different types of movement, how you feel after specific conversations you have with coworkers or friends or family members. How do you feel after scrolling through social media or watching certain shows? And ask yourself questions like, does this energize me or does it drain me? Do I feel calmer or do I feel more anxious after? Do I feel clearer or more foggy? How's my digestion, my mood, my pain level? All of that is your body talking to you. It's been talking to you this whole time. You might just be turning the volume up for the first time. Step 2, you're going to start small, one variable at a time. So once you've collected some initial observations, you choose one small experiment. not a total life overhaul. That's how we end up face down in a bag of cookies, wondering what happened. So you're going to pick one variable, like maybe adding or removing one single food, or trying a new type of movement, or watching the sunrise every morning for a week, or turning your screens off 2 hours before bedtime, or maybe you add one supplement that your healthcare practitioner has recommended. And then you become the witness, the silent witness. You watch for changes in energy, mood, digestion, bowel movements, sleep, mental clarity, pain level. And here's the key detail when you're working with food at this point. Give it at least 3 weeks before changing something else. There are some reactions called delayed onset hypersensitivities, and that happens when you eat a food and it causes a symptom, and it can be delayed by days or even weeks. It can be even possibly be up to 3 weeks. So if you're changing 5 things at once, you're never going to know what's actually going on. So you want to do slow tweaks and get clear feedback, especially when you're changing foods. The third step and final step is to build a relationship with your body. This one might be the hardest in our social media world because it's very easy to outsource your power. You see someone online who healed everything by eating only blueberries and elk, and maybe you look at that and you think, oh, maybe I should only eat blueberries and elk. And before you know it, you're jumping from one diet to the next. Meanwhile, your symptoms are not improving and they may even get worse. So you feel like you failed and that you aren't equipped to know what to eat in order to be healthy. Or your friends are thriving on a diet that makes you feel like you've been hit by a bus and you're wondering, well, what is wrong with me? Just because a friend thrives on that certain diet or raves about a specific supplement doesn't mean it's the right path for you. And that's okay. Your job is not to copy someone else's plan. Your job is to develop a relationship with your own body so you can discover your plan. Give yourself permission to be the outlier, to be the one that is excluded from the study. In fact, I'd argue the people who get well are often the ones willing to be the outliers. They question things, they experiment, they don't just blindly follow the averages. Because health isn't about fitting into someone else's plan. It's about discovering what makes you thrive. So instead of asking, why isn't this working for me? Maybe we can ask, what is my body trying to tell me? When you can shift the perception from comparing to curiosity, that's when you become your own experiment. And becoming your own experiment means building a relationship with your body where you can learn how to communicate with each other. Listen, it takes time. It takes slowing down long enough to be able to listen to your body, to hear what it's trying to tell you. But it's really simple how to do it. You try something new, one thing, you observe how your body responds, you make adjustments, and then you repeat with a new thing. Over time, you go from feeling like your body is your enemy to realizing it's been on your side this whole time, doing the best that it could with the information and resources you've given it. So listen to it, trust it, honor that unique symphony that makes you, you. I would love to hear from you on this topic. Have you ever tried something that should have worked, but it didn't for you? In contrast, have you ever tried something that shouldn't have worked, but it changed everything for you? Maybe it was a food. Maybe it was a practice like cold exposure or grounding. I would love to hear your story. Please share your personal experiments in the comments, what you tried, what you noticed, what was surprising to you. And don't share because your experience becomes a rule now for everyone else. Please share because your story might give someone else permission to start listening to their own body.